Globalization is a multifaceted phenomenon that encompasses economic, political, cultural, and social dimensions. It is the process by which nations become increasingly interconnected through global trade, communication, and the exchange of ideas. Proponents argue that globalization has brought unprecedented economic growth, improved living standards, and fostered global cooperation. They believe that it has created a more interconnected and interdependent world, paving the way for progress and development. On the other hand, critics raise concerns about the negative consequences of globalization, including increased inequality, exploitation of labor, loss of cultural diversity, and environmental degradation. They argue that it primarily benefits the wealthy and multinational corporations, at the expense of the poor and the environment. To thoroughly examine this topic, we must explore the arguments presented by both sides. Advocates of globalization tout its potential for economic growth and development. They argue that increased trade and investment have led to significant advancements in technology, increased productivity, and access to a wider range of goods. The C services. Globalization has opened up opportunities for businesses to expand their markets and tap into new consumer bases. This has stimulated competition, leading to lower prices and increased efficiency. Additionally, proponents emphasize that globalization promotes innovation and the transfer of knowledge across borders. It allows for the exchange of ideas and expertise, leading to the emergence of new industries and the spread of best practices. This can be seen in sectors such as technology, medicine, and transportation, where advancements have improved the quality of life for many. However, critics argue that globalization has exacerbated income inequality and contributed to the concentration of wealth in the hands of a few. They contend that multinational corporations exploit cheap labor in developing countries, often resulting in substandard working conditions and low wages. This leads to a widening wealth gap between the rich and the poor, both within and between nations. Moreover, critics point out that globalization can lead to the decline of local industries, as cheaper imports flood the market. Small businesses and farmers are often unable to compete with multinational corporations, resulting in closures and job losses. This has a profound impact on local economies and threatens cultural diversity. Another contentious issue surrounding globalization is its impact on the environment. Critics argue that the pursuit of economic growth often comes at the expense of the environment. Globalization has led to an increase in international trade and the movement of goods over long distances, resulting in a significant carbon footprint. The extraction and transportation of natural resources have caused deforestation, pollution, and habitat destruction. Moreover, multinational corporations often exploit lax environmental regulations in developing countries, further exacerbating environmental degradation. Climate change, as a result of increased carbon emissions, has become a pressing global concern, and critics believe that globalization is a contributing factor. On the other hand, proponents argue that globalization can also be a catalyst for positive change. They emphasize that an interconnected world enables nations to address global challenges collectively. Issues such as poverty, disease, and terrorism require international cooperation and collaboration. Globalization facilitates the sharing of knowledge, expertise, and resources, enabling countries to tackle these issues more effectively. Additionally, proponents assert that globalization promotes cultural exchange and understanding. The exchange of ideas, traditions, and arts can foster a sense of unity and tolerance among different societies, breaking down stereotypes and prejudice. In conclusion, globalization is a complex and controversial topic that elicits strong opinions from both sides. It has undoubtedly brought about significant economic, social, and cultural changes, but it has also led to various challenges and drawbacks. Proponents argue that globalization has the potential to promote economic growth, innovation, and global cooperation. Critics, on the other hand, highlight concerns over inequality, labor exploitation, environmental degradation, and the erosion of cultural diversity. To critically analyze the impacts of globalization, it is essential to consider both perspectives and work towards finding a balance that maximizes the benefits, mitigating the negative consequences. Whether globalization is a force for good or a source of problems is an ongoing and important debate that requires continued examination and discussion.